The Dow fell 140 points to 27,046. The Nasdaq dropped 11 and the S&P 500 was off 9. For the month, all the averages were up, the Dow just a fraction, but the Nasdaq added 3.5% and the S&P 2%. Bob Pisani has more.
October ended with a Thud hurt by more weak manufacturing numbers and a report that China is hesitant to make a long-term trade deal with the United States. But it was actually a pretty strong month overall for the averages, considering we avoided any scary October crashes or major market plunges. S&P 500 sitting right near historic highs. And although the Federal Reserve is taking on a more passive stance on interest rates, the market is still confident enough that the backstop is still there, meaning the Fed is going to step in and cut rates again if it needs to. Trade talks are presumably still on between President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping, though the market has lost some faith in the prospects of a long-term deal today. The market is entering its seasonally strongest two-month period of the year. That's important. November is the second best month for the S&P since 1950. December is number one. That's according to the Stock Traders Almanac. The problem is there are still bitter memories of the disastrous December last year, and conviction for a rally from here is remarkably lacking. Trading volumes have been very light in the last couple of weeks because a lot of traders are sitting on the sidelines. Some feel they had good enough returns and maybe would prefer to lock in those returns now rather than chase further advances. And the news flow from the White House on trade is very confusing. So next up is Friday's jobs report, likely taking a hit from the GM strike this month. After that, it's all about trade. Moving all tariffs is probably too optimistic, but there's still some hopes that the December 15th tariff hikes can be put off. What about those bitter memories of last December? There's a key difference here. Last year, everyone was worried the Fed would begin a cycle of rate hikes. That was a big factor in the December drop. That is not a factor this December. For Nightly Business Report, I'm Bob Pisani at the New York Stock Exchange.